Hi Scorpio, welcome to your November 2023 Astro-Tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, though I use whole sign tropical Western astrology. So if you're only going to watch one of these, make sure it's for your ascendant sign. It's going to be the most accurate for on the ground, basically, right on the day-to-day level. Now, with that said, before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to pop these to the side. Those will be for your lunations. So the first transit that I want to look at for you is on the 4th of November. The moon is going to be in Cancer at 28 degrees. Pluto is at 28 of Capricorn. The nodes are at 24 of Aries and Libra respectively. So it's not a super rare transit, but this one's rare in the fact that Saturn on the very same day goes direct. Now usually when Saturn goes direct, it kind of takes a while to get up to speed. Because this is what we call a cardinal grand cross, the feeling that I get from this is it's going to create this, it's going to create like this, because it's cardinal energy, which is all about forward momentum, right? So this is an energy of tension that creates a push forward of some sort. So that Saturn going direct, I think, is going to be felt quite viscerally, because Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, and that's where Pluto is, and Pluto is a big part of this whole sort of cardinal grand cross energy that's going on, right? So with that said, it's a powerful influence on its own, right? So while it is fleeting, of course, as I just said, because the moon moves quickly, right? She's only in one sign for like 2, sometimes 3 days at absolute max. It seems to pack a punch, and it almost feels like what you guys are being asked. So this for you, the moon is in the 9th house, right? So therefore that Pluto is in the 3rd house. The nodes are in the 6th and the 12th houses, right? So 6th and 12th houses are the maintenance axis. 6th house, physical health and vitality. 12th house, spiritual and mental health, vitality, right? 3rd and 9th house, where the moon and Pluto are, this is the educational and mind axis, right? So in all of these different areas of life, you're really being asked here, what power do you believe you hold over your personal environment versus the need to explore or adventure more, right? To gain a higher perspective, or even just a different perspective. It might be that a relationship with a teacher or a coach or a guru of some sort gets kind of strained at this time. Not necessarily to the point of breaking, because this is kind of like, it's a heads up to say, like, walk away, right? Saturn goes direct on the same day, and rather than coming to a speed up slowly, I think this is going to give it a push, an oomph, right? And that's in your 5th house of pleasure, joy, romance, fun, creativity. If you found it really hard to enjoy yourself, or it's like every time you go to enjoy yourself, something comes up, some kind of hard work, some kind of burden or limitation, etc. shows up, this would be why. It could also be as well, if you've got children or, pet projects, these might have taken up way more of your time, so you can't really, have that. It could also be as well false start energy for some of you. Not for everybody, but possible. So for this, you've got the Hanged Man. Observe, just wait, just observe. You've got the Queen of Pentacles, usually an earth sign woman, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, with the 6 of Wands, right? So this actually could, although it's a challenging transit, it actually could not only present you with a way forward, but there is also potentially a way that you win here, providing you are looking after yourself when it comes to your health, your vitality, your mental health, your spiritual health, all of that kind of good stuff. This is really about self-care, and it's almost like the way that you succeed or the way that you move forward is through that, right? This is how you're really going to be able to get ahead in some way. So on the 12th of November, this is a biggie, right? Especially for you, because you are Scorpio ruled, so Mars is your ruler. So on the 12th of November, a few things I want to mention about this. Because it is such a powerful transit, I have said to all of the signs, So this comes exact on the 12th of November, but from the 10th of November to the 14th of November, that's the observation window that you really want to be mindful of. Now for you, this is happening across the 1st and 7th houses, right? So the first house is you, your physical body, your personal energy, how you move through the world on a day-to-day level, your outlook, your personality, you know, you in a nutshell effectively, but you on the ground, right? Then the 7th house is partnerships, relationships, contracts, significant connections that you have on a one-to-one basis. It's commitments of a higher nature, right? So if the 5th house is dating and pleasure and romance and sexy time, 7th house is marriage, right? If anyone knows anything about marriage, marriage is work. Yes, it's wonderful and it's loving and it's kind and it's all of that, but it's a commitment, right? You have to keep showing up even when it's hard. So the 7th house can also represent what you give away, and it can also represent your, they call it open enemies, which to me means your competitors. This opposition between Mars, the planet of energy, passion, excitation, war, challenge, conflict, willpower, steel, sharp objects, laser beams, fire, meets electricity, Uranus, the rebellious, the disruptive, the changeable, the breaking of the old guard, the revolutionary. What happens when an unstoppable force, Mars, meets an immovable object, Uranus, in the sign of Taurus, which is fixed Earth, right? What happens when these two come into a clash? This is eruptive, it's disruptive, and this is happening across angular houses for you, right? The 1st house and the 7th house, so your ascendant and your descendant sign are being involved here. And Scorpio and Taurus are financial signs that rule material things, so I think for you this will be felt quite viscerally. Mars in the 1st house can bring energy, vitality, passion. In your sign, I see Mars in Scorpio as bringing like a rolling boil, right? Like, when you look at the surface of the water and it's just boiling and boiling, like it's not popping up, but you can see like that it's a sustained intensity. It's palpable, it's energetic, it's magnetic even, right? If Mars in Scorpio is magnetic, Uranus in Taurus is repulsive, right? The repelling energy. And interestingly enough, Uranus rules divorce, right? So if Mars in Scorpio is magnets, Uranus in Taurus is, it breaks it apart. That's what Uranus does on its own, let alone in Taurus. I am fully expecting some kind of volcanic eruption, potentially, I touch wood, I hope I'm wrong, some kind of, to get really literal, this could be some kind of volcanic eruption. It could be like an earthquake of some sort. It could be a disaster of like an electrical or a fire nature that happens in a building of, a financial institution, right? It could be something along those lines. Now, for that reason, I've said to all of the signs also, this is not, if you can avoid spending big money making any sort of online purchases between the 10th and the 14th of November, I absolutely would. This is not a time to be leaving payment gateways open for letting people see your PIN code. You really want to be mindful about your resources and also your technology, right? So the gadgets that you use, because Mars and Uranus are both technology energies. You really want to look out for those kinds of things. Now, that being said, in an explosive opposition to Uranus in your 7th house, Uranus rules your 4th house of home, family, property, real estate, right? There's some kind of family issue that has an impact on a relationship here and vice versa. It might also be that you and a partner have a serious words with each other about a future plan or even a family matter. A very select few of you, this might be a serious blow to a relationship. Doesn't have to be a deal breaker. If your relationship is already rocky and it's already kind of at that point where it's like anything is likely to do it, this will do it, right? This will bring a relationship to an end. If it's solid, it's just likely to be like a really intense row. Don't let it linger. And like I said, the 10th to the 14th, don't have any big conversations around certain things, right? For this, you've got the Strength card. Exercise strength and patience. really, before you speak on something with a partner, and this could be professional, personal, or platonic, think about how you really feel, right? Look at that. That's very interesting. Really interesting, because the star card is number 17. The strength card is obviously number 8. 1 and 7, 1 and 7 gives you, star card is number 17. 1 and 7 gives you 8. These two are direct opposites in the zodiac, because the strength card is Leo and the star card is Aquarius. What this tells me, right, interestingly enough, you've got this first house, seventh house thing going on. Then you've got the Two of Swords in the middle, balancing out these energies. This is balancing out what your heart tells you you want for yourself, that you're willing to go after or to fight for, but also what the collective good is that will come out of this. This is a fancy way of saying you need to find the balance point in your relationships this month, especially around this time. And if you need to just walk away, it's wise to do so. All right. For on the 18th of November, Mars, your ancient ruling planet at least, is coming into a Cazimi in the first house. Mars is coming into a conjunction with the Sun in your sign. This is a big deal. This is new light, new heat, new vitality. Happy damn birthday, by the way, for those of you that are celebrating this month. Mars, you know, all the things that it rules, as I said, like is, you know, in terms of you, but the Sun also rules authority figures, and coming into a conjunction with Mars, it's refreshing Mars. It's doing what Scorpio does best, right? Getting your phoenix on. This is you being reborn, rebirthed in some kind of glorious fire. Now, you know, you do personal rebirth better than anybody else. Transformation is your jam, right? It also allows you to become deeply enriched. This is your ruler being reborn. No one does this like you. And for that reason, especially because the Sun also rules your 10th house of career, this could be that you really decide to take yourself or your life in a new direction, or you choose to dedicate yourself to really allowing yourself to shine in some way. This could be a much needed soul level reinvigoration of some sort. Also possible that it has a lot to do with a reinvention of that career, and it could be that a big power player in your career field or your personal sector could really help you get along, right? This is a moment of illumination in some way, shape or form. It's going to go a long way to helping you relaunch yourself or have some kind of a glow up. For this, you've got the Six of Swords with the High Priestess. Okay, right, so this combination here is a very special one. This combination here speaks very loudly. This is some kind of secret pact, promise, connection is likely to be revealed at this time. There is a possibility if you have your own business, some of you could be getting a celebrity client. The Hierophant card with the High Priestess, I've seen a lot for NDAs. And because it comes up with the Six of Swords, this could have an international flavour to it. So there's something about this. It's like you are going through a rebirth. You're changing how you do what you do, how you brand yourself, market yourself, all the rest of it, you know, if that's relevant. It could just be that you go through a really powerful fundamental change in how you present yourself to the world, and it feels right to you now. All right. So, I mean, really, really interesting. I would also say watch the wider world stage. You know, the whole human ferrying situation that we have. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a revelation around this at this time. I would not be surprised if there's something big in the news about that whole thing, which, you know, they seem to run a report on everything but yeah, I think we will probably see something like that. There's going to be a fall from grace of some sort, of some higher up. There's going to be something, and as always, you know, it's only going to be the tip of the iceberg. Anyway, for on the 22nd of November, Venus is going to come into an opposition with Chiron. This is happening across your 6th and 12th house axis. So this is a maintenance axis, right? 6th house is your physical health and vitality. 12th house is your, sorry, that's my chair. It was getting sinking. The 6th house is your physical health and vitality. 12th house is your mental and spiritual health and vitality. Venus is going to be in your Oh, come on, brain. Venus is going to be in your... Yeah, Venus, sorry. Venus is going to be in your 12th house. I actually like this for you. And Chiron is in your sixth house, right? Your sixth house of physical health and vitality. This I actually think is showing you what is really getting in the way of your health, right? This is happening in that space. Venus is strong here. It's her masculine domicile, which means she expresses herself and her energy very well in this space for you. The opposition is bringing you into a clear realization that your personal release is about letting go of old patterns and maybe old indulgences of some sort that get in the way of your health. This could be like maybe you're letting go of bad habit for some of you. It could be that you're playing too much on a health conscious level, right? So this could be like, this is where medicine becomes mania. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, the guy that's trying to, you know, like he's spending 2 million a year to... At what point do we kind of say, you know, I don't actually think that that's really helping you? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know about anybody else, but just looking at him, he doesn't look healthy to me. He really doesn't. He looks pale and preserved. I mean, I don't. If you think that helps or that's what you aspire to, fair enough, mate. But for me personally, when I look at him, he looks pale and he looks preserved, and I don't think that. I don't personally think it's doing him any good. Anyway, Chiron in the sixth house is potentially showing you where your daily habits, routines and rituals are actually stopping you from enjoying life. And Venus ruling your 7th house and your 12th house might be a connection of some sort that doesn't really support, doesn't offer the same kind of support that it takes from you. All right, so for this you've got the King of Pentacles with the Tower card, okay, and the Nine of Wands. So one way that this potentially shows up, the King of Pentacles was usually a Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo male. Because you've got the Hierophant close by, I would say he's probably going to be a Taurus. You could be hearing of a Taurus person in your life that has, a touch wood, they could have an accident of some sort. That's one way this could show up. And it could also be that you look at your career and your resources and your money and you kind of say to yourself, actually, there's something here that really needs to change. There's something here that really does need to be adapted or even acknowledged in a better way that's going to be much more supportive for me. You know, it's just an interesting mix for sure. The other thing with that, with that Nine of Wands, for some of you, because the 12th house is your past, for some of you, this could be a moment at which you realise that you actually have PTSD. This could be a realisation where you say to yourself, like, wow, I haven't ever really admitted to myself how traumatic this experience actually was for me. And now that I look at it, yeah, it has actually shaped a lot of my ideas or my philosophies or my outlooks on things. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a moment of real sort of honesty. Interesting stuff. On the 25th of November, Mars, your ruling planet, is going to leave your sign and come into the sign of Sagittarius, which for you rules the 2nd house of money, finances, resources. This is a powerful uplifting energy to your finances. There's a big concentration here at this point because Mercury's also going to be here. The Sun's also going to be here. So it's like there's a big focus on money, resources, your worth, your value, your self-esteem, which I think at this point could actually be at an all-time high, which is great. There's a focus on the money, but there's also an up-leveling of the value that you provide in the world and therefore the prices potentially that go with it. It could also be that you start to spend more money in line with that increase, right? So Mars coming into the 2nd can make us a bit more spenny henny. It's very possible. Wherever Mercury goes, things tend to speed up anyway. Wherever your Mars goes, things definitely heat up and speed up as well, and they become more urgent and pressing. And the Sun being there is also bringing attention to it. So this is a big highlight for your money. And it's going to be a whole process of a month. You've got this with the Death card. Okay. And the Knight of Wands. There's no getting around that. there's two ways that this is going to show up. First of all, I'm really sorry to say, but I do feel like you will hear of a passing this month. And it's likely to be a Taurus male. Whoever this person is, it might be very sudden, and it might be because they might be really healthy. This might be somebody that like always plays sports, does all of that kind of stuff, so it might come as a bit of a shock. I don't feel like it's immediate family, but I do feel like it's, like brother from another mother, sister from another mister, like that kind of energy. Another way this potentially shows up as well is some kind of trip or travel that you had planned is not going ahead. I'm really sorry to say that. And just because of the combination of cards, and we're talking about the second house here, it is possible, there's a couple of ways this could work out. One, maybe this person has an accident and you have to go and visit them. Maybe you get a call to say, look, you should probably come say your goodbyes or whatever. That's one way this could show up. Another way that it could also show up, though, is some kind of trip or travel that you've already paid for doesn't go ahead, and unfortunately maybe you don't get your money back. If that's the case, sue the pants off them, of course, but just a heads up for a possibility. In the most part, I actually think your finances will do very well this month, though. So for your new moon and your full moon, you have that new moon is in the first house. This is a fresh start of some sort for you. Those two cards seem to want out, so I'm going to pick them. This is a fresh start for you, right? This is a fresh start. It's a reboot of all that you are. Set intentions around that. What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? You've got the Gate 36 and the Greener Grass card. Maybe you don't have to change anything. Maybe you don't have to become or be or do anything else. Maybe, just maybe, you just need to perfect more of who or what you are at this moment in time. Your Gemini full moon, sorry, I don't have a moment there. Your Gemini full moon is in the 8th house, right? Of other people's money, finances, resources, death, taxes, the taboo, inheritance as well. Now, interestingly enough, this card actually, yes, it represents the limits, but it also represents learning to work within the confines of the limitations that you have. And the example that I always give with this card, because it makes the most sense, when you see like those dogs that have had their back legs crushed or they've had a spinal injury, owner couldn't put them down because they love them too much. So they build them like a little, set of wheels or whatever the case might be. Do you think they sit there feeling sorry for themselves? No. As soon as they can get up and get out there, they're running around, tongue flapping in the wind, ears floating all up in the air. They don't look at that. They work with what they have. That's what this card always represents to me. It's learning to work with the limitations that are given to you. And because it's a full moon in your 8th house, whatever your hold-ups, PTSDs, whatever your fears, your inner turmoils, conflicts or traumas are, this month you find a way to turn them into gold. This month you find a way to really turn that into something that you can use for your fuel moving forward. All right. With that said, if you would like to get your personal Astro Tarot Scope session with me, you can do so on the link in the description box below. It's a one-on-one with you, me, the stars and the cards, as they say. Having great results with these with clients and absolutely loving doing them. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.